Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to take another look at that trainer's toolkit. You see, I've shown you the trainer's toolkit before, we've talked about it, and I basically told you it was a cool product, but it was a kind of thing that was far better for new players who wanted to get into competitive playing than it really was for long-term players. It didn't offer that much for long-term players. Well, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, I was wrong. And I'm not even particularly embarrassed about this, if I'm honest with you. I was wrong, and I am absolutely delighted about being wrong. You see, things have changed, and it is so much cooler than it was the last time we talked about it. Now, what is very, very important at this stage, we are talking about the blue one, we are not talking about the red one. Now, the red one is cool. The red one came out a little while ago. The red one has the two alternate art Dedenne cards, which is extremely cool. But the thing to remember is that came out a while ago. It is very much a Sun and Moon era trainer's toolkit, and essentially everything is gonna be rotating out. So there's no point buying it. Not if you want to play competitively, because essentially everything you would want is rotating out. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a few trainer cards like Marnie, Professor's Research, Boss's Orders, Quick Ball, Metal Saucer that will be remaining, but it came with the alternate art versions of Pokegear, Pokemon Communication, Reset Stamp, and Dedenne. They're all rotating out. It came with some Sword and Shield packs, but not all Sword and Shield packs. It's still a cool product, don't get me wrong. And there's stuff in there that will survive the rotation, but we are not talking about that one. The blue one is what we're talking about. Now, when we were told about the blue one, frankly, we were told a bunch of stuff, which is very cool. You are getting more than 50 useful cards to power up your decks, including dozens of trainer cards and 2 copies of Crobat V, more on that in a moment. More than 100 energy cards, including special energy, 4 booster packs, 65 sleeves, a deck builder's guide, rulebook, 7 tournament legal dice, that's for tracking damage on your Pokemon, 2 condition markers, poison and burn, and a code card. I should say one of the dice will be a flipping die that you use to determine heads and tails. So there's lots of cool stuff in there, and if you're just getting into the game, bunch of useful trainers, you only get 4 packs, it's not amazing, but the packs are cool. But what you're really buying it for is bunch of useful trainers, and you get your sleeves and your dice and all of that, and your 2 copies of Crobat, which, as we've said, are going to be the alternate art Crobat, which came out in Japan a little while ago. And Crobat's great. Like, if you're going to be playing the Pokemon trading card game moving forward, you are going to need a couple of copies of Crobat. Because Crobat's amazing. You play it from your hand to your bench, you draw till you got 6 cards in your hand. Especially with the aforementioned Dedenne rotating out, Crobat is going to be a staple in like every deck. If you don't have a couple copies of Crobat, you should go and buy this product immediately, because honestly, 4 packs, 2 Crobat, and everything else, you're getting your money's worth easily. But you see, Pokemon have gone and updated their upcoming promo cards, and it seems like a couple of these trainer cards, which are going to be coming along in the set, are actually a couple of Japanese trainer cards, which we were beginning to think were never actually going to make their way over here. You see, to give a little bit of history here, we had both Miss Magius and Sabrina and Brycen Man, and frankly, those cards were too good. They were far too good, and they ended up getting banned for the crime of being too gosh darn good. Miss Magius let you draw until you have 7 cards in your hand and knock it out. But firstly, we had Duskstone, so you could basically turn 1, use this. You could just Duskstone a Miss Magius and use it. And secondly, it meant you were behind on prizes, so you could use stuff like Lieutenant Surge's strategy way more easily than you should be able to. It meant you could have a really powerful reset stamp to put your opponent down to a low hand far too early in the game. It was a broken card, so it got banned. Similarly, Sabrina and Brycen Man was another card that was just too gosh darn good. It was a card that made both players discard the top 3 cards of their deck, and you could also have both players limit their bench, but that wasn't really why we actually played this. We played this so that both players discarded the top 3 cards of their deck. But of course, you would play it alongside stuff like Aura and Guru, which would replenish your deck, and essentially it was just a milling card that seemed very unfair, and people didn't like it, and some people loved it, but some people didn't like it, and Pokemon went ahead and banned it. But what they did instead was they later printed these new cards, Sabrina and Brycen, which is meant as a replacement, and a new Miss Magius. Now, it's awkward, alright? It's very, very awkward, because on the one hand, they are reprints, as in, they are reprints of there is a Miss Magius, and there is a Sabrina and Brycen, which is Blauber and Brycen Man, that are specifically being printed to replace the older cards. But they're not reprints. They don't actually do the same thing. Now, if we start off having a little bit of a look at Miss Magius, it's not particularly impressive. Nobody particularly cares. Like, as mean as that might sound, nobody really cares. And I'm sorry if that sounds mean, and I'm sorry if that just makes me sound a bit grinchy, but that Miss Magius is not a particularly good card. It's got a couple of attacks. It's 20 damage plus confusion for 1 energy, or 2 energy if your opponent's active has exactly 9 damage counters on it, you get a KO. It's not out and out terrible, incidentally, because if you can get exactly 9 damage counters on, instant KO, but let's not pretend this is some brilliant card. Sabrina and Brycen, however, is a brilliant card, but this is where it gets a little bit tricky, because Japan has had this for a while and it's been good for a while. Well, we're getting it now, and over on Pokemon.com, they have gone and updated the legality, and they have told us that this will be legal from the 20th of August, 2021. That is confirmed. The problem is that we have had it confirmed that our rotation is going to be happening on the 10th of September, which basically means that we don't have very long at all before this goes out. We've got from Friday the 20th of August until Friday the 10th of September. That is exactly 3 weeks. We have exactly 3 weeks between these 2 cards coming out and these 2 cards rotating. And incidentally, these are Sun and Moon cards. They will have well, they won't actually have a regulation mark. They would in Japan have a regulation mark C. Over here, they won't actually have a regulation mark at all, because our Sword and Shield cards don't have regulation marks. And it has been confirmed on the official website that these are Sun and Moon promos 245 and 246. These are not Sword and Shield promos, they are Sun and Moon promos, which is super weird timing. So to get back to Sabrina and Brycen, you search your deck for up to 2 basic energy and put them into your hand, and then if you discard 5 other cards, you can search your deck for 3 Pokemon of different types and put them into your hand. And basically, and I've done a video all about this, I'll link it in the description, but it makes Zacian ADP so much better. Because essentially, you can search for the 2 of them and Dedenne, or the 2 of them and Crobat, or hopefully you've already got 1 of them, so you get Dedenne and Crobat. Use Crobat to draw and then Dedenne to draw afterwards, because Dedenne discards your hand. Use it before Crobat, you discard the Crobat. That's a bit silly. Because what you're really looking for to get this turn 1 altered creation is a Metal Saucer to get the metal energy onto Zacian, an energy switch to then move the energy over to ADP, and a water energy. But bearing in mind, you can search for your energy. So you search for your water energy and hopefully, well, and then your metal, and hopefully you've got a way to discard it, because do remember, it's discard 5 other cards, so you cannot discard the metal energy you've just searched to use a second effect of the card. You've got to have it in hand if you want to do that. But it basically just makes Zacian ADP way, way more consistent. And now we go back to this trainer's toolkit, and not only does it have all the cool stuff we already knew it had, Not only does it have 2 copies of Crobat V, which are going to be a staple in basically every deck moving forward for the next year, we are expecting Crobat to rotate in August, September 2022, but that's a year after this comes out, just a bit more than. You've also got these brand new exclusive, never before seen promos, and look, they're the last Sun and Moon promos. There is no way they're coming out anywhere else. Again, that's not confirmed, but I would be stunned if they did. So what that means is you've got exclusive promos, proper numbered Sun and Moon promos, and if you collect the promos, and I know a bunch of people do, you're going to have to get this to get them. How cool is that, ladies and gentlemen? How cool is that? This Trainer's Toolkit just got awesome. Incidentally, we do have a 3-week period where that Sabrina and Brycen card is a genuine top tier card. Miss Magius isn't. It's cool, but it's not that great. It's a fun little deck. Like I say, we can make decks with it. It's not going to be that amazing. But Sabrina and Brycen is. It is that gosh darn good. I love it, ladies and gentlemen. I absolutely love it. I was on the fence about picking one of these up. I wanted the Crobat, but I've already got at least 2 English language Crobat and a couple of Japanese, weirdly. And I've got sleeves and dice and all of that. So I didn't know if I really wanted to pay it for the 4 packs of 2 Crobat and, any other trainers. Now you give me exclusive promos. I'm in, ladies and gentlemen. I am in. But I want to hear from you guys. I want to know if you are now convinced. I want to know if this has changed your mind like it has mine, or whether you're cool to just still let it slide. Let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.